Welcome to Whiskey Uncut. I'm your host, Paul.
Hey, I'm gonna apologize to everybody in advance for coughing in the microphone for the next
Jo-
hour.
joined by
I'm gonna do
James.
my best.
Joined by James, who is, a little bit sick.
Dude, I've
But
been sick since Christmas. Like I got sick shortly after Christmas. Everybody's had the same thing, but the cough just keeps coming back. So
yeah, I
I
had
have
that
my
after I got COVID. I was sick for like a week, like deathly dying. But then like that cough just would
yeah, it
not
just won't
go
go away.
away forever.
It's like I feel like I have my sexy podcast voice now though.
Oh,
Like
that's
it's a
true.
little
You do get
deeper.
that deep. It's
Yeah.
like when you just wake up and it's just like really deep and mellow.
I got a little rasp going on. It's all right.
Yeah, like I'm a terrible singer, but like every now and then I try and sing and play guitar at the same time. And the guy that was giving me a couple lessons, like I told him, I'm like, basically all I need to do is just only ever attempt to sing 5 minutes after I wake up because your vocal
Oh
cords
yeah.
are super loose and like it sounds great. All the rest of the time, terrible.
Yeah, so this is going to be the high water mark for me
Yep.
for podcast voice.
And we are joined also by Isla, who we
Oh
can get
yeah,
on the cat cam. There she is. Blocked a little bit by one of these whiskey bottles.
oh there
she is.
she is. She's resting now, but she'll attack my arm.
Yeah.
here for the next hour or so.
All right. So what have we got today, James, as our little setup? Because we got a lot of bottles on the
We got
table.
a lot of things going on. So we're gonna I thought we'd start with our news, and then we're gonna go into tasting two of our Two Souls winter bottles. So I have our honey spirit and then our double barrel bourbon.
Okay.
And then because we shat all over celebrity brands last podcast, we're gonna do a little bit of blind tasting with some celebrity tequila today and see and do some ranking and see what we think.
Yeah. So we're gonna switch it up, go to tequila a bit. This was one of our viewers last time said they'd sponsor this bottle. So if they actually do, we'll send them some.
If not, it's ours. But yeah,
If not, it's ours.
Yeah.
And we're actually joined by Tyler, our old producer, is in the
Oh.
comments. He's
Oh,
watching.
hey, Tyler.
So, and then we got a few other people in there, including our sponsor for the 818, Greg.
Tyler,
So,
everything has gotten much worse since you left when we turned everything over to Paul.
Yeah.
So you need to come back at least visit.
yeah, we'll see. We'll
Do
see
a
what he
guest
says in
audio.
the comments about our production value now. But
Right.
so, let's start with news. And our story for today from Whiskey Advocate, as usual, is about Sagamore Spirits and their annual Distiller for a Day sweepstakes. So it's a Baltimore-based rye company, and they are launching their second annual Distiller for a Day program. This sweepstakes runs through June 30th and will award one lucky winner the opportunity to travel to the distillery for an immersive distilling experience, James. They regularly offer facility tours, which includes their whiskey bar and even concerts in the summer. But this experience is far more robust and interactive. The winner and one guest, they always let you bring a guest on every single like sweepstakes thing. I guess nobody wants to go on them alone. I don't know. Will work alongside the distilling team from cooking mash to fermenting and distilling rye using Sagamore's 40-foot column still, nicknamed Penny, playing a part in the entire production process. Okay, so when I saw the headline for this, I was like, sweet, you get to make your own whiskey?
You don't get to do anything.
You don't get to make your own whiskey.
No. You walk along next to people while they make whiskey.
You get to like push the button that makes the
Yeah.
the rye go into the mash, which is still cool.
It's still fun.
It's
You
still-
get to see how it's done.
It's still cool
You
to be
know?
honest, but it's not what I thought when I saw the be a distiller for a day thing. Where like I was envisioning the tiny still, James,
The little itty bitty.
the little itty bitty still where they let you do like your own whole batch and
Right,
everything,
right.
which would be way cooler and probably cheaper for them to be honest.
And what would be cool about that is then you could actually trace the product you made, right? So they
Yep.
could bottle it or whatever. This is just going to get blended in with a bunch of other stuff, and you're never going to know what you made.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
it's a cool idea, though. I mean, because when you do go and you take a tour, they tell you how everything works, but you don't actually most of the time get to see it work, right?
That's true.
So it would be kind of cool to go around and see what they're doing and kind of help the process. But yeah, you're not going to be super involved with that.
Yeah. So, I was thinking about that and I'm like, how different is that from, so like when you go and you pick barrels, I mean, I feel like you're getting essentially that same sweepstakes experience, right? Do they ever let you push the button, James?
No, I've never pushed the button.
No.
No.
You just taste the whiskey.
I don't know that I want to.
Okay.
That feels like a lot of pressure. I'm much happier getting to do the fun stuff like trying the barrels.
Yeah, that is inarguably the more fun.
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah.
Part is getting to drink the whiskey. Ironically, they didn't actually say in there that you get to drink any whiskey.
You don't get to drink
included
anything.
Included in the price.
Have you been to Sagamore before?
I have not.
Dude, it is gorgeous. Like
it's a little out of my neck of the woods.
Really pretty facility. So if anybody gets a chance to go, I highly, highly recommend it. Especially now that they're making their own stuff. Because when they first started, everything was MGP. And they would do some unique cask finishes to it or whatever. But now that they're making their own product, I think it's a really cool tour to take.
Well, I think we should enter the sweepstakes. We can see if we can
Will you
go.
be my +1, Paul?
Yeah, I'll be your +1.
Yay. Maybe I'll take Isla.
Oh, that'd be cool.
She looks ready to go.
All right, so we've got our new releases coming out, and kicking it off right off the bat is the one I'm the most excited about. Old Forester 117 series Scotch cask finish.
Nice.
Now, Scotch cask is that I don't know what that means. Like, I feel like they could have been more descriptive there. But this is ABV 46.5%, price $60. Limited availability. And all the rest of the Old Forester, like the 1920 and all those are really good. So I guess the new 117 series, or this is part of their experimentation and innovation series. And it says that they're going to use a Speyside Scotch whiskey cask, likely from one of their other distilleries, such as Benriach, Glendronach, or Glenglassaugh. Now, if it's Glendronach, which is heavily sherry cask, that could be really good.
But they would have to, I would think, according to TTB regulations, they would have to say that somewhere on the bottle.
Which barrel it is?
They would have to say that it was a sherry barrel, yeah.
Well, but it's not. It's a whiskey barrel, because whiskey was the last spirit that's in it.
But it started out as a sherry barrel, right?
Right, but it's not a sherry barrel anymore once you put whiskey in it.
Oh man, I don't know. That's where it gets tricky though, because you're going to be imparting sherry flavors, right?
Well, sherried whiskey flavors. So.
This is way too complicated.
Yeah,
but I'm excited for you for that one, Paul, because that is right up your alley, and we know you have a little bit of a soft spot for Old Forester at times.
That's true. So. I mean, well, a lot of their stuff's really good, but all right. A. Smith Bowman Cask Strength Batch 3. This is 9 years old from Virginia. Blended bourbon, ABV 67.55%.
Nice and solid.
Yeah, we're starting to see a theme. You know, everybody in the industry going towards these really high proof whiskeys. This is at $100, as pretty much everything is these days.
And they make really good stuff. I've had one or two of their cask strength stuff. I think I just went to the distillery and tried it. It was really good. So I'm sure these are tasty.
And it says this is availability for an online lottery in January. With the retail release was at the end of December. Yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten to try anything from them, but I trust you if it's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
That says the lottery begins on oh no, it just ended. Sorry.
we can't enter it now.
Yeah, thanks, it's a little too late. William and Green 2023 Wildlife Collection Whitetail Buck Single Barrel. That's a mouthful.
That's a lot of name.
Origin Tennessee, 7 years old, 65.6%. Price $150.
Oh my gosh.
Availability 259 bottles. This is 84% corn, 8% rye, 8% malted barley, and the distillate was buried.
Was buried. And that's not a bad idea, though.
March 8th, 2016 in Tennessee, where it spent 6 years, 8 months aging. We tried some of Milliman Green stuff.
Yeah,
season
we
two?
had a distributor on and tried it. Mm-hmm. It's solid. I mean, it wasn't
their special wildlife whitetail
buck one. No, it didn't blow me away, but it was solid.
Yeah, and this is from Texas, I think. No, Tennessee. So,
Tennessee, yeah.
But I thought they were in Texas. I thought Milliman Green didn't.
They source, I'm sure.
On November 10th, the bourbon was moved to Texas, where it spent an additional year aging in their rick house. Okay, right. That makes sense. Yeah. I was confused. I'm like, how can it be from Tennessee and Texas? Union Horse Distilling 10-year-old reunion rye, 62.5% ABV, 10 years old. Price $150. Availability in Kansas and Missouri.
All of these prices make me feel much better about what I'm doing.
About what you're doing
with
at
Two Souls. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, at this point, like $100 is the new $60.
Yeah.
Like all the really premium stuff was like 60 to $80, a while ago, and now it's 100 to 150 because everything costs twice as much. That's from family-owned Union Horse Distilling Company, founded in Kansas City in 2010. Scored 89 points, and it's only 5 years old. All right. We have Never Say Die bourbon from Kentucky, 6 years old, 47.5%, $70. Now that seems steep for 94 proof. I feel like at $70, I expect 100 proof plus.
I see this pretty readily. I mean, especially if you're dealing with a smaller producer. I don't even know who these people are. I've never seen it before. But yeah, I would expect it to be in that price range. I'm assuming it says aging in Kentucky before embarking on a 6-week-long transatlantic voyage. Wow.
Yep.
Okay. So
there's
you go.
The $70 price point.
You're paying the freight charge to bring it to England.
Never Say Die. Yeah. It's 75% corn, 21% rye, 4% malted barley, 5 years in Kentucky before a 6-week-long. I just feel like 6 weeks can't make a difference.
No. It's I guess it's going to slosh around in there a little bit. So it's kind of the Jefferson's Ocean approach, right?
Yeah.
But you're always going to pay more for that kind of stuff. So that doesn't surprise me then that it's $70.
Yep. Well, that's I mean that gimmicks are, I feel like they're dying off a bit. Like there's far less gimmicky whiskey coming out right now.
It's kind of like the barrel finishes we talked about, right? It's starting to be more about the whiskey and less about the gimmicks or the barrel finish.
Yeah. Tyler says the live stream looks great, by the way.
Oh, he's complimenting you. I like it.
Yes, he is. All right. So let's talk about, we discussed going into season 4 that we do this new format with news and stick to a consistent episode format. News, a small whiskey review, and then our general topic. So typically, our whiskey reviews would be like stuff that will go into our end of the year award ceremony or whatever. These won't because you picked these.
Because they're mine.
And so we might be biased.
Yeah. But I thought this was a good time to go over our winter releases. I know you have a story to tell about one of these that you bought. You bought the Honey Spirit from us, right?
Yes, I did. So last week I texted James and I'm like, James, your bottle of Two Souls Honey Spirit is actually indestructible because you can run this over with your car, as I found out, and it will survive, as evidenced by the bottle behind James.
Yes, and not just once. You ran over it twice, essentially.
Technically twice.
Yeah.
Because the FedEx guy decided to drop my package behind my house in front of the garage door. So when I sit in my car and I open the garage door to go out, I can't see it. It's a little tiny package on the ground. And I drove forward and I felt it go, boom. And then I don't know why, James, but those intrusive thoughts were like, well, you might as well just drive over it again.
Just to make it more fun.
I don't know.
If you're gonna do it.
I don't know what I thought it was. I guess I thought it was like,
oh, it's probably a human. I'll just keep going. It's fine. I don't want to just maim him.
Oh my God. But like, I really don't know, because why did I then drove over it with the rear tires too? Like, why didn't I stop and get out? I mean, there's not really anywhere to stop. Like, I couldn't open my door. There's too much stuff in my garage.
Well, you could have just stopped going backwards though. That's like probably the
I didn't go backwards over it. I drove forward over it twice.
Okay, good.
Because I didn't have an option. I had to either go back over it or forward over it to get out of my car. But anyway, it survived. And,
I appreciate you testing our packaging for us. That was, we've always wondered if it would survive being run over by a car. And now we know. And
I posted to the Gainesville Whiskey Club, and it's legit the photo of the packaging with the tire trim marks.
Just right over it. Yeah. Good job. So tell me the one that you tried to murder this is a 5-year Honey Spirit from Yahar Bay. And so honey spirits are kind of rare. I only know a couple companies that do it. But the basic idea is you make a mead, so you make a honey wine, and then you distill that into a spirit. And most people release it unaged or very, very lightly aged. This was put into a bourbon barrel, and it was a barrel that I think the bourbon that came out of it was young. It was only 2 years old. So there was a lot of charge left in the barrel. And there was obviously bourbon in the barrel. And this was left sit for 5 years. So this is the oldest honey spirit that we know of on the market. I've never seen one aged even remotely close to that. And what I love about it is there's been a craze with honey finished bourbon. And a lot of times for me, they're just too sweet. Like there's a lot of honey left in the barrel. You add bourbon to it. It's basically just like you're dripping honey into your glass of bourbon. This is entirely different. You get the nose, you get the raw honey on the nose, you get a little bit of raw honey on the palate, but it's not cloyingly sweet like you get from a honey cask bourbon. This to me tastes more like a bourbon. If you poured this for me, I would just guess it was a bourbon.
Yeah, I remember when you gave this to me originally, you gave this to me as a blind taste, and you were like, tell me what you think. And I was very confused because to me, the honey character is very similar to like an ex-bourbon barrel Balvenie.
Oh, yeah.
Where you get a honey, nutty, kind of dry character to it. And so at first I thought this was a finished single malt in something because that single malt character is kind of a dry, to me, more of a blank slate profile for like finishing relative to like bourbon, where you have like a strong corn or rye grain flavor. But the aroma is like, it's just so floral and so delicate that the closest thing I can think to it is like a older single malt that's aged in a light bourbon barrel that has a honey character to it.
Right.
But then when you taste it, it's like completely different. It just has this like slightly thicker mouthfeel, but not thick like a bourbon aged in a honey barrel.
No. And I was having a hard time when I did the notes because it is viscous, but it's not what people think of when they hear honey. It's not that kind of viscous. It coats your palate. It's warm. It's 132 proof, 131.88. So it's warm. But I think what's nice about it is that slight honey and that extra kind of coating on your palate almost proofs it down a little bit for you. It coats your palate really well, but you don't get a ton of that burn like I would normally do with a 132 proof spirit.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane how delicious this is. And it tastes completely different from like when you actually taste it and experience the whole thing. The only thing that's strange with that proof, I think, is that the finish is kind of short. But I think that's just a matter of it being a honey spirit.
Yeah, it's not going to have as much bourbon note.
Right.
It just what you think.
Right. It doesn't have like as crazy because it doesn't have like a mash bill of multiple grains and all that going on. It's just a little bit of a very different kind of thing that I really like. So I actually bought a bottle.
Yeah. And I think what's cool about it is, there's a lot of people out there who are looking for unique stuff, and it doesn't get much more unique than this.
Right.
Like, I guarantee if you get it, nobody else has a bottle of honey spirit. You can pour it blind for people who know a lot about it and kind of mess with them a little bit and see what they think. But it's just really different. It's a great gift for people like us who have a shit ton of stuff and you don't want to buy something that they either A, already have, or B, don't want.
Right.
I think it's just a really fun bottle. As soon as we tried this from Yahara, I was like, yeah, absolutely no question. I was a little bit worried about it because I didn't know what people would think of when they saw honey spirit. And I didn't want them to think that it was super, super sweet and then be disappointed when it wasn't. So I tried my best to kind of keep saying bourbon. Like it tastes like bourbon. It kind of smells like bourbon. Get used to the fact that this is more bourbon palate than like a honey palate.
Yeah. And it's not sweet like a double barrel bourbon, like a double cask where that second cask is heavy char, like Woodford Double Oak. Like that's way sweeter than this. This is much more like you get a pop of sweet from like that honey, and then you get cask after it. And so it balances out really nicely. Not to mention the heat, the high proof cuts a lot of the sweetness, in my opinion.
And yeah, it's a fun little
I really like
spirit.
it.
Yeah. And we've had, man, I think we sold probably 3/4 of the barrel already. We opened it around Christmas time. So it's gone really, really quickly. And once people got their hands on it and tried it and started to spread the word a little bit. But this is what's cool about what we do is, no other company is really releasing this kind of stuff.
Yep.
And so we get our hands on some pretty unique stuff.
Yep. And remember, if you are subscribed to our channel, if you give this video a thumbs up, or most especially if you're a Patreon subscriber, you'll get entries to win, because we didn't do our drawing for a free bottle of Two Souls at the end of December because we weren't doing the show. So we're going to do it the next week, at the end of this month. So, I don't know if this one's still on there, if that's on the slate or not, but one of these will be. So what's the second one you got?
So the other one is our double barrel bourbon. And so this is kind of a fun story. When we first, you've tried all the Watershed products we've had, right? Like the first bourbon, and we had the single malt that we finished in an apple brandy barrel. We bought this barrel at the same time as we purchased those. But I wanted to let it sit a while, so we had one that was closer to 6 years. And it was a big ass chewy bourbon, like just heavy and rich and not really smoky, but like some leather notes in there. Like it was just big. And so it was really opposite end of the spectrum from the first bourbon that we released from Watershed. And I always sort of wish that it just had a little bit more of a punch of sweet on the front. That's the only thing I was sort of waiting for. And of course, the longer I let it sit in the barrel, the less sweet it became. But then there's a group in Ohio, Two Bros One Bottle. David McAllister's the kind of the lead of that group. They had picked a barrel for their 1-year anniversary. He does a lot of barrel picks for the group, and that bourbon was sweet as hell. Like it was one of the sweetest Watershed bourbons I've had. And they have these barrels that they call confectioner barrels.
Yeah.
That taste kind of like confectioner sugar or like buttercream frosting up front, and then you get like a lot of orange. And it was just a different beast. And I was like, dude, like he offered me the barrel. He was like, if you want to do anything with it. And I was like, what if we put Watershed in a Watershed barrel? And so it's kind of the idea that you're blending, right? You're trying to create layers of flavor, but we're not actually blending. It's still a single barrel product. So we took our big beefy 5-year-old bourbon, we put it in their single barrel that was a sweeter profile, and we let it sit for about a year. And I think those sweeter notes came through like really perfectly on the palate. So you're going to see it opens really bright. It opens up with some of those confectioner sugars, and then it transitions really quickly into that heavier, bigger, chewy bourbon. And this will be a big contrast for you on the finish, because this guy stays around for a really long time on the finish.
Yeah. What I was going to say when I smell this is like, it reminds me of almost like that like those Publix cookies that have like they're like crumbly kind of, and they have like that thick icing on top. There's like that kind of like an aroma to it, and then but on the back there's just a ton of wood and a ton of and not a ton of wood in terms of like oaky, but like there's a mellow richness on the back end.
And this is my attempt at trying to create the exact kind of bourbon I like. I like really sweet, bright up front, and then I like dry and oaky on the back. Not over oaked, but I want to know there's some oak there. And this sort of was my experiment to see if you could do that. And not too many people do this, right? Like this is not how you normally do a cask finish. You usually do a completely like out of the box flavor profile to add something different to it, like port or rum or something like that. This was just more about tweaking and adding a nuance. And you're not really changing the character of the whiskey, because the secondary cask comes from the same distillery, right? It's the same mash bill. It's the same product. It just happened to develop differently in the barrel. So like I said, this is sort of like blending without blending. And that's why I was really intrigued by it. And this is a warmer one too. This is at 128.5.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, as soon as I taste that, you get like those brown sugar notes. You get more of the caramel coming through. You get more of the traditional bourbon flavor profile, I think. I think the nose is a little bit different. The nose is a little more on like what you were talking about, the confectionery. the confectionery sugar side, but the flavor is a little more traditional bourbon. I get some spice in there. What's the mash bill on this?
Oh man,
do you remember?
I thought you were going to ask me that. They use a relatively high rye content, but I would have to look it up.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you remembered off the top of your head. You pick a lot of whiskeys.
I pick a lot of whiskeys. It's in the 70s corn.
Yeah.
And then I think it's in the teens to low 20s.
For rye?
For rye.
Yeah. Yeah, because I definitely
see if I can find it.
Like there's a nice level of, for me, that's like the rye content that I like in a bourbon.
Yeah.
That, like,
just a little bit of kick.
Yeah.
Because you're pretty sensitive to rye.
Yeah, I mean, it's grown on me a lot, but I'm just saying, like, for me, that, like, balance is, like, it's right on. So I think, man, this one's interesting because if you didn't tell me that this was a double cask, I don't know that I would guess that it was a double cask.
And we were not trying to, and see, there's a difference between a double oak and a double cask. We were not trying to do a double oak because to me, double oaks get,
because double oak is a second brand new barrel.
Brand new cask.
Right.
Yeah. And they get sometimes a little bit heavy-handed. Like you get smoke right away. You get way too much flavor.
And very sweet.
Yeah, and they get very sweet. This is a double barrel, but not a double oak.
Okay.
And so it's a little bit different. So the mash bill here is 72.
That's a good distinction for people.
It's 72% corn, 21% rye, 7% malted barley. And it came in at 6 years, 1 month, and 12 days at bottling. And we've actually had a couple people. It's fun you brought that up. We've had a couple people reach out and say, "Hey, I normally don't like double oak stuff, but I really like this." And I'm like, "That's because it's not a double oak."
Was that your cousin? Was that your cousin?
No. But it's just I like that it's taking something that is good, but just slightly tweaking it and making it just nudge in a little bit in one direction to something that's a little bit different. And I think it drinks really nicely. You've had a lot of Watershed. I think this stands out from the Watershed barrels I've had overall.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly gives it a different profile from the other Watersheds. I think, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting because, like, for me, I think part of what I like about Watershed is the relatively light character of it. But then when we had the representative on and she gave us the uncut version, it was a lot heavier.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I was surprised how well it translated into that heavier flavor profile. And so I think this is kind of strikes that balance where the aroma is kind of the lighter Watershed style and the palate is a little more like the heavier, I think it works really well.
And I think we get a lot of comments because Watershed has that Watershed funk to it. This is a little bit less on that funky note. I think the double barrel finish, the extra time in the barrel pulled some of that out. It's still there. Like you can very much tell that it's Watershed DNA.
Yeah.
But I think it's more center lane Kentucky bourbon profile and that was the barrel that we picked. That's why I picked it.
Yeah, it does. I think Watershed, the apple brandy on their standard barrel is a little more like off center lane.
Yeah.
From that, and I think this is a little more of a traditional flavor profile, although that second cask adds nice nuance. So,
and that's the difference between like their normal stuff and their single barrels, right? Their blends have the reason you view them as light is because of that apple brandy barrel.
Right. Yeah, it just adds that like crisp kind of So, Josh Adams says he's loving the podcast in a video format, which is hilarious because it's supposed to have been a video format this whole time.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. We glad that you joined us.
Yeah, because the part, like we said last time, a big part of the reason moving to this format was because I just procrastinate and don't get the videos up. Because here's the thing. When we do it live, I can actually edit some stuff in live while we do it. And that's the kind of stuff that if I do it afterwards, I want to do. And I'll just spend hours just like, if I could move that text box a little bit and it would look better. Like I can't do it quickly. So,
well, this is a good, I like how this goes. So, and we don't, and we've said this before, like we don't really edit too much anyway. So this works really well.
Yeah, we were never. I mean, that's part of why it's called Whiskey Uncut. It's
Yeah.
because we're not cutting stuff out.
We would cut occasionally when your dog started to bark and you
yeah.
had to go somewhere, but
But
you know, for
she's
the most
older
part,
now
we're
and
good.
she doesn't do that too much. So we're going to set these down and transition to our topic.
Yeah, so I'll just wrap up by saying both of these are available on our website. So twosoulspirits.com, ship directly to your door. We ship to 44 states, so odds are we ship to you. And I think they're both really super unique. And if you're into craft stuff, if you want to try a different bottle, I don't think you can miss on these.
Yeah. Okay. So for our main topic.
Oh, here we go. I'm excited. This is going to be fun. This is blind tasting. So
yeah, blind tasting. So last week we brought up the news story about, celebrity whiskey endorsement, and James mentioned that, there's some tequilas out there, a lot of tequilas are celebrity endorsed. So we wanted to try some of those, and just give our palates a little break from whiskey for a bit. So what we've done is my wife has poured these, and somewhere, over here, somewhere we have the answer key that we don't know. So she poured these blind for us, and we're going to taste them and just kind of give our impressions and probably rank them.
Yes. I'm really excited to rank them.
And while we start that, I'm going to read you guys a little bit about each one.
And we should say this is real science here. We have a control.
Yep, and that's
our control is
1800 Reposado.
Yes.
So we chose all Reposados because Blanco tequila is kind of.
I don't want to sit here and sip Blanco tequila.
Me neither.
That's more of a margarita thing for me.
Yep. And then we have the Casamigos, which is George Clooney.
And thank you, George Clooney, for putting it in a small bottle, so we don't have to spend as much money.
Yes. Yeah, because we had to go buy all these. And then we have Terramana, which is Dwayne Johnson.
And $3.75, so that's okay.
Yep. So that one wasn't too bad. But Kendall Jenner trying to take
only
all of our money.
$7.50. Yeah. So you're already making us angry, Kendall Jenner. Yep, it's good that this is blind because I can't hold it against you.
That's true. That's actually a good point. So the first thing, just right away, I gotta say, Kendall Jenner's got the worst label. Like
just a big 818 on it.
I don't understand how. Like, isn't she like a fashion plugged in with the? Maybe that's what people like. Is they like ugly, boring labels.
That you never know.
That. I mean, when
I will say it's distinctive though. It has 818 really large on it. Like you can't miss what it is.
It does, but I hate the label so much.
It's just very there's a lot of type.
It just looks so boring. And what's baffling to me is they probably spent like $100,000 just on developing that label.
Oh, absolutely.
At least.
I do like the bottle though. I'll say that. I like bottles with sloped shoulders.
Yeah,
it's a nice looking bottle.
Nice. Yeah.
And it's a little bit different. It's kind of distinctive. It stands out when you look on the shelf with the other tequila. So it's kind of fun.
She signed the bottle, by the way.
I bet it's a real signature. Did you meet her at Total Wine and have her sign it?
Yeah.
Good job.
So, anyway, so we're gonna read a little bit about each of these as we get into tasting them.
And then I think after you read about them, I think we should pick who we think we're gonna like the best before we rank them.
Okay. So based off what?
Based off of what you read.
Based off their story. Okay.
Based off of their story, and then any ratings we've seen or our in-depth knowledge, Paul, of Reposado tequila.
That's true. It's funny. I used to actually know a lot about tequila when I worked at Dorn's, because I drank probably tried hundreds of different tequilas there.
I really like tequila.
But it's been years since I've really been into tequila, and my collection of tequila has dwindled to none because I drank it all.
If I was going to drink if I'm moving away from whiskey, it's tequila. So this is fun for me.
All right. So the first one we'll talk about is Casamigos from George Clooney. Longtime friends George Clooney, Rondé Gerber, and Mike Meldman love Casamigos. On the rocks, by the shot, at times, straight from the bottle. Tequila-filled nights with friends is how Casamigos was born. Our idea was to make the best tasting, smoothest. There it is, James.
Smooth. How many times are we going to see smooth?
So right away, I know that Casamigos is probably going to be the best because they already said it's no, not that it's smooth. It's the smoothest. So,
okay. All right.
Yep.
We should we should do a game sometime where we drink every time somebody describes their spirit as smooth. It's going to be a lot.
All right. So let's see. That's the smoothest tequila and mezcal that didn't have to be covered up with salt or lime. So we did. Casamigos was made just for us. We worked on the creation of Casamigos in Jalisco, Mexico for years and held many blind tastings.
Many.
Like tonight. Until we knew we got it right. We've been drinking our tequila and mezcal with friends and family for many years now. It was never intended to be released to the public.
Oh,
that's
a smart play.
Yeah.
That's a good marketing thing. I like that.
And so,
it's also garbage, but it's a good marketing play.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is like the nail in the coffin, or the what do you call it? The like the smoke, before the fire kind of thing.
Okay.
Like for Casamigos, is that part true?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think it's true.
You don't think that like a freaking ridiculously rich actor and some of his ridiculously rich friends just went out and were like, yeah, we want to have someone make a custom tequila for us just for shits and giggles. And then after the fact realized like, oh wait, like the whole market is like going this way. We should turn this into an actual thing. Because every time I've read that, I've actually believed it.
Because, well, now that you put it that way,
because like they're so rich.
I'm still going to say no.
You still say no? Okay.
I'm still going to say no.
All right.
No, I think the point was always, I mean, look, celebrities have been getting into spirits for a long time. George Clooney was not the first one to do it. And so people know when they go into this stuff that it's lucrative. Now, do I believe that they didn't know right from the beginning if it was going to be marketable or not? Sure. But I think that was probably always in the back of their mind.
It says it's always served at our homes in Mexico. It's literally our house tequila.
Well, awesome.
So
it would be mine too if I owned the company. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. We are delighted that consumers and tequila and mezcal connoisseurs alike are consumers not the same as connoisseurs.
No, those are different.
Okay. I'm glad.
We are connoisseurs of whiskey, Paul.
Oh, but we're consumers of tequila.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Enjoy and appreciate the authenticity of Casamigos. This is quality you can taste. So raise a glass with our award-winning spirit. Speaking of raising a glass, we have a new Patreon member at the Raise a Glass tier, James. And that is Liz Broughton. So thank you, Liz, for supporting us on Patreon. Give a little
oh, you just
raise a glass. Cheers to Liz.
Ram it into the microphone.
So look at that. Did you see that little segue? That was
good. That was good. I like it. Good job, Paul.
I'm impressed with myself.
as you should be. Somebody needs to be impressed with you. So that's good.
Okay. So that is Casamigos. Now transitioning to the very different Terramana, our tequila. Why we do? Wait. Let's go to our story. Keep it fair.
Yeah, you have to read the stories.
Look at that truck driving through fields of agave.
This is the only one that has like videos that actively run on it, so it's a pretty good job.
So this one's a little bit different because unlike Casamigos, it's not a picture of Dwayne Johnson on the front. Which I actually appreciate. Because the Casamigos is very heavily on George Clooney. So at Terramana is about people. At Terramana, we have a simple goal to create a high-quality, responsibly sourced tequila that brings people together, one that starts conversations, creates laughter, and moments to appreciate those along with us on this journey of life. Terramana means spirit of the earth. From taking care of the land where we source our agave to the painstaking process of creating our tequila to the people we work with and spend time with, Terramana stands for taking care of who and what we love. Passion for great tequila. So you got to get like 4 photos down before you see Dwayne Johnson.
Yes.
So already I'm thinking Terramana is going to be better.
You're just based on the website.
Based on the website. Hey, that's all I've got to go on right now, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Well, because here's the thing. They're not, it doesn't appear that they're marketing just based off him. They're marketing based off it actually being a brand.
Well, and that's why I don't know that I necessarily believe the whole story with George Clooney. And we never thought this would be available. Well, then why are you just splashing your face all over it? Like I went and I read all of these websites too before we did this, and this is the best website in terms of if I was going to read something and want to buy it.
It's a fantastic
This
website.
is a really nice website. They all look kind of similar and they all say the same sort of thing, but I think this is a really well done marketing job.
Yep. So at Terramana, we take sustainability seriously and work to reduce our impact. We take 100% of the leftover agave fibers from production and turn them into natural compost that is used as organic fertilizer for the agave fields. I assume probably all farmers do that.
I would imagine, yes.
We also use a state-of-the-art water filtration system that cleans the wastewater left over from production. We will continue to strive to reduce our footprint and take care of our home for generations to come. A tequila created with attention and care. And then from our founder, at the end, you get Dwayne Johnson's signature. After years of hard work, this is truly a dream come true. My team and I are committed to bringing you the highest in quality tequila because the quality, the people, the land, and the legacy are what matters most. From all of us here at Terramana, we invite you to come have a drink. So, I mean, right away, I think I appreciate the fact that that it's not all like Dwayne Johnson's photo is literally only on the website, like buried in the story. Yeah. And it's like a picture of him with other people, like a stock photo, basically.
The website is really about the farmers, the land, the sustainability, the product itself. It's a very different approach than what you see with Casamigos, where right away you just see a picture of George Clooney holding up a glass, right? And so it's a very different take and a very different angle on pubbing the product. And that's why for me, this feels less selly. But it has all the buzzwords that you would expect from a sales.
You
pitch,
mean like
right?
Sustainable ultra premium tequila and sustainable and utilizing 100% brick ovens.
Yeah.
It's 100% brick oven roasted.
Yeah. It's everything is very like, it's buzzy. We're sustainable. We recycle. It's like fair trade stuff.
But
it's
at the same time, they talk about their process a lot. We roast for 3 days before shredding our agave to extract the juices for fermentation. We use leftover agave fibers to compost our fields, handmade copper pot stills.
It felt more transparent than what I was expecting from a celebrity brand.
Yeah, like look at this, the details. So they give you, I really like this graphic, 100% Blue Weber Highlands. So they tell you what agave it is. They give you the roasting, the distillation, the calories, the carbohydrates, the sugars, and then the aging barrels, American whiskey barrels. It feels much more like they're trying to build a real product.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's a fantastic website. All right, so our last celebrity one, 818. Hey, look, immediately, giant picture of Kendall Jenner stylishly wearing a hideous 818 hat.
I mean, if I was Kendall Jenner, I would put my picture up front too.
Okay, well, yeah.
If we were Kendall Jenner, Paul, that would be our website.
Our story. We worked closely with local family-owned farms in Jalisco, Mexico to bring you the smoothest.
Smoothest. Now we have a battle of the smoothest.
We have a battle of the smoothest. Now, and that in Terramana's defense, they did not claim to be smooth.
No. So
the smoothest.
If there's a rough one, that should give it away.
Yep. The most natural and best tasting tequila possible. Only the highest quality ingredients are used in its creation. Now, this is buzzwords.
Yes.
All natural, smoothest, best tasting, highest quality ingredients. Nothing of any detail. All very generic. The area code 818 is home to me. But the earth is home to all of us.
Oh my gosh. Seriously? Is that what it says?
That's what it says.
Oh man.
So it's named after her area code in California.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
That's a terrible reason to name a tequila. I'm sorry.
Whoever wrote that is amazing.
Dude, I'm gonna start the 32608, whiskey company or something. Oh man. So from the agaves we grow to the production of the bottle, sustainability and transparency of our supply chain was our core focus. So we feel a great sense of responsibility and pride to have a positive impact on individuals, communities, and the environment. We've had so many magical nights drinking 818, and we hope you enjoy it as much as we do. KJ.
KJ.
Our process, understanding the craft and hard work that goes into creating. 7 years, 30 plus hours, 70 hours. Okay. 7 years. We wait 7 years for the agave to reach peak maturity. We cook our carefully selected agaves for 30 hours, and we ferment for 70 hours before being distilled. Sourcing the agave, slow cooking, traditional Tahona extraction. We crush our cooked agaves with motorized stone Tahone pits. Each wheel weighs 800 kilograms. So, I mean, there's some good detail in here. Like
it's fine. It's a little bit more buzzy, markety, but it's fine.
It's better than I expected. I was half expecting 818's website to just be like just photos of Kendall Jenner's like Instagram with the tequila bottle.
Doesn't this website remind you of Terramana though?
Yes,
it's almost identical.
The layout and the and just I assume that this is like the correct way to make a website right now. You know, if I had to guess, like that there's probably the same group of interns in marketing. It
looks really, really similar.
So let's see the Reposado. Oh, they got some pictures. Classic. Looks just like Instagram photos. Just disembodied hands holding the bottle.
Holding bottles up.
Holding bottles up. There's one in an agave plant.
Ooh,
I bet that took a lot of creativity.
That was nice.
Sorry. Do you think that's Kendall Jenner?
No, that's a body double. She has a body double.
So she only even posted for one photo.
Yeah, that's it.
But hey, Kendall, where's my 350, 375 available at Total Wine? So it exists, but she was not nice enough to send it to us.
No.
You know, I feel like
that's probably her backside. Right? That's probably her backside.
So do you think I find it questionable that they put these two photos side by side because they're basically interchangeable. Like they don't. I don't know.
I think you're getting a little granular,
all right,
Paul.
Okay.
Let's.
So, tasting notes. Let's get away from that.
Yeah, we don't want to see those. All right.
Okay, let's taste them.
All right. So we have 4 poured.
So
we're gonna go one at a time here and talk about them, right?
Yeah. And right now, my money is on Terramana.
So just based on the website, you think Terramana is going to be the best?
Yes.
I am going to go with Terramana as well, but it's just because it's hard for me to vote against a bald, muscular guy.
Yeah. I should also say
that's kind of my wheelhouse.
These all cost almost the same amount. With the 1800 is a little bit cheaper. The 1800 is like $35, I think. And the rest of these are between 40 and 45.
Yeah. Everything's kind of in a decent range. And if you want to taste a tequila that is well balanced, I would argue that Reposado is probably the best to do. So for $40-$50, that's a pretty good price range. I like it. So we both think that we're going to like Terramana the best.
Just based off
because of the website, me just because it's the rock.
I just
that's the only reason.
But see, that's why I think it will be the best is because it relied the least. It had the least of like Dwayne Johnson's face on
I feel like I'm going to taste his strength in the tequila.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we know if one of them isn't smooth at all,
it's
that because he didn't claim.
Oh man.
Number 1 smells good, but strong on the agave.
And really peppery, like super tons of white pepper. I was reading Nancy Fraley put up a post where she was trying mezcals and she described one as rotten pineapples, smoked turkey, and something else. And I thought that sounded horrible. This does not smell like rotten pineapple or smoked turkey.
Or smoked turkey?
No. Oh, and then she said sour yogurt. So I don't know what she was drinking, but doesn't sound good. Oh man, 2 is like vanilla.
Ooh,
like vanilla for days.
Dude, 2 smells amazing.
Oh, that is so different. It's crazy to smell that according to like in comparison to 1.
I'm number 2's got me right now.
It smells like creme brulee, dude. Like it's very like.
Number 3 is back to being very. I'm guessing number 2 is 818. If I had to,
just because it smells foofy, like it smells bougie.
Yeah, it does. It smells.
2 is very bougie.
Well, I'm just trying to think. Like, if I'm Kendall Jenner and I'm trying to promote something to like young hip people that are probably not drinking stuff neat or by itself, I would go for something that tastes non-traditional.
But how do you get that though? Like, I don't understand. I've never smelled it. Have you ever smelled a tequila that smells like that?
No.
I have not.
It smells almost like it's flavored.
I feel like 3 smells like a hybrid between 1 and 2.
Okay.
There's a little bit of pepper. There's a little bit of that vanilla, but it's not the vanilla bomb that 2 is.
3 smells the most average to me.
Four is really flat to me.
4 is flat.
I don't get anything on the nose on 4.
Ooh, yeah. Actually,
you got to get in there, but it doesn't jump out of the glass. The others really popped out of the glass at me.
You know what 4 reminds me of? It's like,
man,
it smells like a tortilla. It does.
Hey, maybe.
It does. It has like that ground kind of, it's just so subtle.
It has a little bit of a fruitiness to it that I don't get in the other ones. Almost like a
4 is very subtle.
like a mango-y kind of tropical fruit note.
So right now, I think 1800 is probably number 3.
Because you think that's kind of middle of the road.
I think that's the most just like basic tequila aroma.
See, I'm not even going to try that. I'm just going to.
Oh, okay.
What is your favorite nose?
2.
Man, you went with the bougie one.
Yeah. Well, okay. It's the most unique. It's the most standout. And I think it's got layers to it.
You think so?
I do. I think it smells unlike any tequila.
It smells so damn sweet. Like it's just like.
Shut up, James.
It smells like a dessert pour.
If number 2 is 818, we can get Kendall Jenner on our podcast.
That's good. We got to rate that really highly.
Yep. 10 out of 10.
You know what? I'm kind of a traditionalist. I think I like 1 the best on the nose. I like really white, peppery, kind of in your face tequila.
I mean, number 1. Okay. If we're grading like how much of a tequila is it, number 1's the best.
Well, I mean,
but I'm just saying the standout for me, the memorable one is number 2.
Well, yeah, it's memorable because it's weird.
Yeah.
But I do think one jumps out of the glass. It's very clean. It's very peppery. I think 3 and 4 are confusing to me. They fall somewhere in the middle of the other 2, and they're a little bit harder to get a nose off of. And so I don't like those.
I'm digging number 4 though. I like the restrained aroma because probably my least.
It does smell good when you get down in there.
Yeah, because probably my least favorite part about tequila is often the overpowering agave flavor, like with a silver tequila.
Yeah.
And so like that's why I like Reposado and Añejos is because you get a little bit more in there.
I agree. The longer it sits there, the better it gets. It's probably my second favorite nose of the group.
Yeah.
But you have to like dig a
Yes.
little bit more.
Yeah.
All right.
So 1 and 3 are the most similar, I think.
I would agree.
So I don't know. Are there any bald people that work at Casamigos? Maybe that's.
I know George Clooney, from his pictures on the website, he's still got a nice head of hair there. So,
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's go these. Let's try number 1. So first of all, you can't really tell anything by the color on these because the bottles are different sizes, the labels are different sizes. So I couldn't judge based on color if I wanted to.
No. Also, with the lighting in here, you can't really. Oh, 1 is good. It's smooth.
It's very smooth. Dude, 1 is nice. It's clean. It's peppery. It's got a little bit of vanilla caramely note kind of lingering in the back that tells you it's a reposado.
Yep. Liz says she likes Terramana's label the best.
Okay.
So yeah, hey, actually, if you are watching live, let us know in the comments what you would rank these just based off what we talked about with the label and the websites. Which ones do you guys think would be the best?
Yeah.
If you have a guess.
And then we'll tell you you're wrong.
Yeah.
when we do our pick. So yeah, I think 1's very straight up. It's not, I wouldn't call it a complex tequila, but I really like it. It's clean. I could sip it neat. Yeah,
you legitimately, like, I'm surprised. Here, the thing is, are these all 80 proof? I didn't even check that.
I think so, yeah.
818 is 80 proof. Terramana is 80 proof. I'm guessing Casamigos 86. Nope, 80 proof.
I can't read these.
Holy shit, that's tiny.
I know.
Yeah, 80 proof.
80.
Okay,
Yeah,
they're all 80.
So we're an equal playing field here. So this is legit science. This is as good as it gets.
Yeah, I think 1's aroma is good. The palate is disappointing.
Fuck. 2 is so, it's like a sugar cookie in a glass. Like it is.
It's wild.
That is bonkers.
Honestly.
Did she spray her perfume in it when she bottled it?
It's going to be really funny when that's Dwayne Johnson's.
She's like, I gave it the aroma of my body. I touched the liquid.
Dude, I'm calling it now. This is Dwayne Johnson's.
This is Terramana, man. I'm going to be so upset. But it is like, that is weird. I don't even know what to, if you poured this for me, I wouldn't even know what to tell you it was.
Oh, it tastes like it smells.
It tastes like,
It tastes really good. Honestly, I like that a lot.
it tastes like fake sugar though.
It does. Yeah. It tastes like a flavored tequila.
It tastes like artificial sweetener.
Yeah.
And then it's watery to me by comparison because you don't get as much of that peppery note.
I think it's got a little more mouthfeel.
I don't like that.
It reminds me of like whipped vodka or something like something that
I don't know that that's a good thing, Paul. The fact that you like it and you say it reminds you of whipped vodka.
Well, yeah, but my point is like there's a fundamental difference between saying something's like a quality product and something is like tastes good. Like Peeps. Peeps
Peeps
taste
great.
Delicious and they're high quality.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
But,
is anybody giving us any feedback on the labels over there?
Let's see. Hannah says 818 is the best. I don't know if she means the
label or she tried it.
Does she think that it's going to taste the best, or she has tried these and she thinks it's the best? Because she's the one that offered to buy us the bottle.
Ah, okay.
So I don't know if that was she's a fan of Kendall Jenner, or she's stacking the deck. But
yeah,
we'll find out. So yeah, let us know if you're saying that it's the best because you've tried it, or because you think it's going to be the best. I don't know. Two is definitely like I almost wouldn't think that was tequila.
No.
If I was blind tasting, which I am blind tasting, but I know it's tequila. All right. I'm interested to see 3 because 3 to me was the most like grainy, not grainy.
Considering there's no grain in it, Paul. Yes.
The most planty.
See, I think
the most leafy.
I think 1 is.
You think 1 is?
Yeah.
I think that pepper adds to it.
That's what the vegetal note of tequila is, you weirdo.
Yeah,
that's what it comes out as, is the peppery note.
This is like just
just
straight agave. Yeah, it smells more green.
It smells like plant.
You know what? I'm wondering if that 1 is the Terramana because they were talking about the roasting process.
You're getting really like into trying to determine which one's which.
Yeah, because I think the one almost has like a little more that peppery, smoky kind of character to it. It's like a little more like cooked.
It's also brighter and it's got a little bit more citrus in it.
Even though they all
pops a little bit more. 3 I like much better than 2. It doesn't jump out at you as much as 1 does. It's a little bit more restrained. I like it.
So Reposado can be between 2 and 12 months old.
Yeah.
Aging.
And you can tell 1 to me doesn't feel like it's aged very long. Like it's almost kind of Blanco-ish.
Yeah, I think 3 has more complexity overall.
3 feels like it's got a little bit more oomph, like barrel notes coming in.
I like the finish on 3.
It's nice. It's nice.
It's nothing like that whipped vodka infused number 2.
I was not expecting 1 to taste like that.
No,
that is the
not
weirdest
at all.
thing ever.
It's really odd.
Okay.
So right now, I feel like 1's aroma beats number 3, but I think the palate of 3 beats number 1. So those are
they're very close.
Close to me.
Yeah. So I just went and smelled 4.
Yeah.
And it smells like fish. Like it has kind of like a. Do you know how sometimes when it rains, people say it smells like fish outside?
Yeah, I can see
it kind of reminds me of that. It's got a little bit of a funky kind of wet note to it. And then once you get underneath that, you start to get a little bit of the tequila note. But it's by far the most subdued on the nose to me.
It is a bit earthier, for sure.
It does have a little bit of that.
Which one of these was talking about the earth a bunch?
Well, Terra.
I think that was Terramana. Yeah, there you go.
That has the word in it. 4 is like, it has a little bit of a tropical vibe to it. Maybe more so than the others. Like tropical fruit, like mango, papaya kind of notes. And then you get a little bit of that kind of slight smokiness to it. I almost get a little bit of pineapple when I really dig my nose into it. I think it's by far for me the more interesting one to smell.
Yeah, pineapple. I think that's that's when you were talking about fruit earlier, and I was like, my first fruits that I go through are usually whiskey fruits, like cherry, strawberry, apple, banana, those kind of things. But I think pineapple is an accurate or an apt descriptor for that.
And papaya for me, you know how some people say papaya tastes like feet?
I can't speak to papaya. I don't eat papaya.
Some people say papaya tastes or smells like feet.
You've told me this before.
Yeah, that little funkiness, it has a little bit of that into it.
Why does anyone know what feet taste like, James?
You know, to each their own, Paul.
I guess.
Don't judge. To each their own. We just happen to like whiskey.
Yeah.
All right, so first pass through, what's your leader?
All right, my leader is number 3.
I'm wavering back and forth between 3 or 4, just because I think 4 is kind of curious to me.
Here's the thing: I think 4 is more complex than the others, but it's so restrained that it's just I don't want to work that hard.
But is it the
for my tequila? That's very possible.
It
Honestly,
might be the smoothest.
Honestly, at 80 proof, they all taste like water.
Yeah, especially after trying 130 proof whiskey.
Yeah,
so.
that's actually the funny thing is that they're talking about it being the smoothest, and they're 80 proof, so they're all incredibly
they're all
smooth. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna do one more trip through, and then I say we rank.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Go for it.
Oh man, I can't get over how much I like the nose of one though.
Yeah.
But just because I like to know I'm drinking tequila.
It definitely has the standout aroma, other than 2 being standout for oddness.
It's sweet. It's peppery.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a really inviting nose.
It is a very inviting.
It makes you want to drink it, and you don't have to fight for it.
Right, and that's what I'm talking about with number 4 is annoying. Is like it's got layers to it, but it's like you got to really dig in there to get them, and I don't like to work that hard for my spirits. Like, and then that's why like I tend not to connect with whiskeys like Scotch often. That's like ex bourbon barrel only because you go to like you've got like this 20-year-old Scotch and you're smelling it and you're like, I barely smell anything, and like you got to dig deeper and deeper, and so like those just don't work for me, even though I understand they have their place and they can be very elegant in a way. Like I like stuff that more just pours out of the glass.
I'm kind of annoyed that 2 is 2 because when you try it right after 1, it is so different that it just like annoys the shit out of you. If it was at the end and I had like some time to build up to it, I think it would be less stark of a contrast.
Your reaction when you went to that and smelled it was friggin' hilarious.
It's so weird. Now it's like it's that vanilla. It's, you know what it is? It's flan. Like, have you ever had flan like at a really good Mexican restaurant?
Well, yes. Yeah.
It smells like flan.
Maybe that's what they were going for.
And like banana pudding. If you had flan banana pudding, that's what it smells like. Because banana pudding has that slightly overcooked banana kind of note with the vanilla wafers in it. And it's straight up flan banana pudding.
It is wild that none of these are labeled like flavored with
banana pudding.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna say. Let's rank them real quick, and before let's pull up the tasting notes and see if we can guess which one is which, based off the official tasting notes.
Okay.
Because otherwise we have no way of knowing, other than we think 818 is number 2 because it seems floofy. But I also suspect that's Dwayne Johnson's.
I want it to be.
I
really kind of want it. I
really want him to subvert expectations and have like this thing that tastes like perfume. So what's your number 1?
My number 1 is 3.
3. Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
I really like 3. And then
it's close with number 1 though.
It is to me. And so number 1 is my second choice.
Yeah.
And I like it because it's clean, it's bright. I know what I'm drinking. I don't have to fight for it. And I think it has the best nose out of the group for me, which is saying something. And then my third is probably number 4. I want to like 4 more than I do, but you're right. You have to fight for it. Yeah. Like you have to sit there and you have to think about it and you have to chew it a little bit. It's harder work than 3. And then I absolutely abhor number 2. Like, I wouldn't drink it if you poured it for me for free. So it's by far my least favorite. So I'm 3-1-4-2.
All right. 3-4-1-2. So I'm gonna go 1-3-4-2.
Oh, you like one better?
I am a sucker for aroma with spirits. I tend to like, and I've talked about this before, but I get more enjoyment almost out of sniffing a whiskey or sniffing a spirit than I do out of drinking it, because I feel like that's an unlimited experience time.
Yeah.
Like, so when you have something that has a really attractive aroma, you can just sit there and sniff on it for ages before you take a sip.
I agree. My only problem with one, and the reason, because I considered putting one first, the only reason I didn't was because
the flavor falls flat.
It's a little one note.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, it smells like it tastes. There's not a whole lot to do there. And I get the sense that it was aged a little bit less than 3. And so with 3, you get a little bit more depth. And so that's why I prefer that one.
Yeah. I think 3 is probably a slightly better tequila or a more complete package. But for me, if I was going to just buy one of these, I would probably buy number 1. Because...
By the way, 5 minutes ago, you said you agreed with me on 3.
No,
and then you changed your opinion.
Yeah,
well, like, it's my favorite. And you're like, me too.
Yeah, well, it was
5 minutes later. You're like, I changed my mind.
The first time through, I tasted them.
Okay.
I thought 3 was the best, but ultimately, I'm thinking, like, if I'm gonna buy one of these, what's the situation that I drink tequila? I don't sit and just think about the tequila I'm drinking. I just want something that I'm
experiencing. I like to sip tequila. I like to think about it.
Yeah, I for me, it's like you're cooking, you're in the middle of other stuff, you're hanging out with friends, you just have a little bit in your glass or whatever, maybe on the rocks. Ooh. James. And so for me, the aroma of number 1 is going to be more pleasant to just kind of enjoy.
But you agree that there's not as much to talk about with number 1.
Yes, I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I like 3, is that it has some of the characteristics of 1. It's a little bit sweeter, but it gives me something more to contemplate while I'm drinking it.
I think if these were higher proof, 4 would win though, because I think 4 is just it's like
it's almost like it was proof down too much.
Yeah, it's like 4 is like so close to being the best, but it's like you just got to fight for it. Yeah. So I would go probably 1-3-4-2, although 2 is so
it's so weird.
So weird. And it's,
I mean, seriously, would you think that was tequila?
No,
I wouldn't think it was tequila.
Okay, so let's look at these tasting notes. And let's see if we can parse which one is which real quick.
Probably not.
Probably not. They're going to be similar, I think. So our tequila, reposado. Okay, so Terramana has notes of oak and vanilla with a smooth, rich finish.
Jesus. I could put that about any spirit that was aged in a barrel. That's it, right? I could put that about every bourbon. I could put it with anything.
Yeah.
That is the most generic tasting note that I've ever seen.
That's really bad. On the plus side,
you might as well just put
fairly accurate.
Tastes like a barrel.
Tastes like tequila.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So that didn't help us at all.
No.
However,
come on,
Rock.
They did
do a better job with your tasting notes.
They did say vanilla, so maybe number 2.
They didn't say sugar cookie banana pudding, so yeah.
All right, Casamigos. Let's see our tequilas. Reposado.
Flavor.
Aroma, caramel with hints of cocoa. Flavor, notes of dried fruit, spicy oak, and a touch of sweet agave.
That doesn't help me either.
I didn't think any of them particularly tasted like caramel or cocoa. If I had to guess one of them, it might be number 4, just because it's so hard to pick out an aroma.
I think 3 is a little caramely to me, but I think the predominant note on 3 is still the tequila agave spiciness. So,
oh shit, it is. It's number 3.
I think 3 maybe has a little bit of that caramely note to it. So if I was guessing based on this, I would say Casamigos is 3.
It's definitely 3. There is a cocoa note to it. Smell it again. I think so. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I don't know how I didn't notice that before, but I was too busy. I was too busy laughing. No, it's the power of me being very distracted on this.
But it has a little bit of that in it.
Okay, I definitely think 3 is Casamigos now.
I hope 818 says flavor profile.
So
Bougie.
are you going to be pissed when Casamigos is your favorite after you think that their
After
entire
shitting on
story
George
is
Clooney?
bullshit?
No,
Yeah.
I mean, if they did it right, they did it right. I'll be fine.
That's true. Okay. 818. Let's see. Taste. Ripe roasted agave with notes of caramel and vanilla. Aroma vanilla meringue.
Oh, meringue.
Honey and fruit accents.
Absolutely number 2.
I think it's number 2. I think we were right.
I'm going to say, based on what I'm...
And pecan pie.
Oh, Jesus. Really?
Finish, yeah.
All right. What I'm going to guess 1 is 1800 because I think it's the most straightforward and simple. I'm going to guess 2 is 818. I'm going to guess 3 is Casamigo. And I'm going to guess 4 is Terramana.
You think... Okay, so you think 1 is 1800, 2 is 818, 3 is Casamigo, and 4 is Terramana.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm probably completely wrong, but that's my guess. And I'm guessing I've had 1800 before. I've sipped it. I remember it being kind of peppery and fairly straightforward. So I'm positive it's not 2.
Well, I'm pretty positive 3 is Casamigos after reading
their chocolate note.
The chocolate note. Because even though I wouldn't necessarily call it chocolate, like
I get what they're saying.
Yeah.
It's part of that layers of complexity that we were talking about.
Right. And 4,
I just want it to be better than it is.
Yeah. I think if 4 is Terramana, they could have definitely added some tasting notes to that.
Oak and vanilla.
Tastes like agave.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do the reveal. So real quick before we get Bad Axe Bourbon's asking what's going on here. A lot of nonsense and nothing not related to whiskey.
No.
Josh Adams says Terramana looks the most like a Scotch label, and it reminds me of Oban.
Yeah, I can see that. It definitely does kind of have that.
I mean,
look to it.
I like their label the best personally. It's got like the gold here. Let's go to the cat cam because then you can kind of see better.
Oh yeah, I do like it the best.
You can see I love it.
Yeah, I used to like Casamigos, but I do like the Terramana label.
The tequila is in like embossed gold, which is nice. And but it's a very generic label at the same time because it's just like got picture of agave on it, you know. And
we see a theme where everybody's using kind of. I mean, 1800 is a little bit different, but the rest of them are using kind of a beigey kind of simple label.
Yep. So,
all right, the big
result
reveal
is number 4 is 1800.
Okay, all right.
Number 3 is Casamigos.
All right, so we were right on that.
Yep, we were right on that. Number 1 is Terramana.
Okay.
And number 2 is 818.
Hey, so we just flipped 2.
So the 2 that I think we had the best idea of, we were right.
Yeah.
The other 2 we were kind of like, but.
And I mean,
huh?
Yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't have. So
okay, we put all the celebrity tequilas ranked above the control group of like the standard, you know, in the market, you know, been around for a long time.
Right. So
actually we did.
We didn't put Kendall
818
Jenner. Yeah. I will say, like, if you're The Rock, so The Rock, we know you're listening. I would add some more complex tasting notes to your tequila because it is very peppery. And that's a good thing, right? And it jumps out of the glass. There's no question that it's a very tasty, straightforward, kind of in-your-face tequila. I do think Casamigos is a little bit more complex.
Yeah.
So George Clooney and The Rock win the competition.
So these should go in this order. Casamigos and 1800. Yeah, that was really fun, to be honest.
And I would like to see where Kendall Jenner won an award. 818. Like, I mean, come on. I can understand why people would like it, but it is weird.
It's
if you
really weird.
had tequila, that does not taste like tequila.
You know what's so weird about it is when you first smell it, it smells like tequila for about a quarter of a second.
I don't even get that.
And then it's just like overpowered with this perfume of the vanilla custardy kind of.
If there was ever a tequila born out of the Kardashian line, it's definitely that one. I will say that.
I'm really disappointed that wasn't The Rock's though. I'll be honest. I was
that would be
I was
nice.
very excited to have my my stereotypes of the Kardashian Jenners refuted, and but yeah, okay. So which of these was the smoothest? Because we had two contenders that claimed to be the smoothest.
I think Casamigos is the smoothest to me. I mean, it depends on. It's the smoothest with still discernible flavor. 1800 is probably the smoothest, but I don't get a whole lot of flavor out of it.
I don't think they claim to be the smoothest. Though.
No.
Well, we didn't look at their website.
But my guess is it's like quadruple distilled or something like that.
You don't think 818 is smoother?
No,
than Casamigos?
I don't. No, I don't.
Actually,
three's pretty soft.
Dude, I don't know. Like 2 definitely doesn't taste like tequila, but it's like weirdly.
You can have it. You can have it. It's all you, Paul.
No, I think I'm gonna send this bottle to Hannah
she likes it, so it's all hers.
Sponsoring it because she likes it. Oh my gosh!
All right, well, that was fun. I like doing that. That was good.
Yeah,
and we were close. The most, I think, the one that had the most distinct tasting notes. We didn't look at the 1800 tasting notes online, so maybe we would have figured it out if we had done that. But the most distinctive tasting notes we could match, which I thought was kind of fun.
Okay. 1800s tasting notes are even worse than Terramana's. Oaky agave is the aroma.
Oh, good.
And then caramel, spices, and smokiness.
Man, people need to work on these tasting notes.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Finish, orange peel, white pepper, and marzipan. Goddamn marzipan, dude.
Yeah.
Marzipan is like the quintessential Scotch tasting note that everybody hates.
Yeah, it's like
because
vanilla almond or something, right?
Yeah. It's like everything tastes like marzipan.
I will say, The Rock, George Clooney, you guys are doing a good job. I do like those two. Those are good. Different reasons why I would try one. I'd probably drink Casamigos neat more than I would drink Terramana neat.
Yeah.
But really, still really fun pours.
Yeah. And I won't buy another bottle of 818, but
I will pour it for people.
I'll pour it for people.
What the hell do you think this
is? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun one. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for participating. Oh, hey, Corncake said, "Hey, you beautiful men." The podcast sounds great. He's on his way home. He was complaining about our sound last time because our level was too low.
Oh, so it's good now?
He couldn't hear it, but it's good now.
Glad we're better for you there, Corncake.
So anyway, thank you guys for watching and tuning in. And
before we forget, before we leave, I want to tell you one of the things I wanted to do with this podcast was convert people to whiskey. And we have done that with my cousin Andy.
Yeah.
So my cousin Jake has always followed. He's always been a supporter. My cousin Andy is now fully on board the whiskey train. He sat in line outside. He took his senior citizen parents and stood in line at a grocery store so he could buy more bottles in an Ohio lottery. So the man has leveled up.
Yeah.
He is reaching the whiskey aficionado stage.
Even I'm not that committed.
No, it tapers off as you get past it. You know,
stand outside in Ohio
in the winter
in
an Ohio lottery. So we have
it.
converted my family. So I appreciate it.
I did that in Scotland. I'll be honest. I stood outside again in the distillery in Scotland, and it was raining, and it was.
But this was
cold,
to buy like Stag Junior.
Yeah, well, that was to buy Octomore. So
yeah, that's you. You probably win. So we're converting my family. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So anyway, this has been fun. Until next week at 6:30. We've already 2 weeks in a row, James. Look at us.
It's a pattern.
It's a pattern. When do New Year's resolutions usually die? It's like the third
February.
third week of January. So we'll see. But so far it's been good. And remember, drink, share, enjoy.
Cheers.
Cheers.